Uh, Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is well and warm. It's a bit chilly, raining in some parts of South Africa. So I hope everyone is keeping well and warm. So today I just thought I should come and I'm not going to be giving a lesson as such. Um, I'm just going to be touching on, the work that I do, right, in my space. So as the title of my channel says, I am a spiritual life coach. So perhaps some people would ask, what does that mean, or what do you do, right? So what I do is, let me just break it down a bit. So for coaching, it's in coaching we have to reach a certain goal, right? So in the space that I work in is to assist those who come to me to um, reach or to have tools that they can use to live a flourishing life, to live a fulfilling life, to live a meaningful life, to have good well being. And also to understand that it doesn't mean that when you have this a pathway type of of strategies, it means you cannot meet challenges, because sometimes people think like when you are in spiritual, when you acknowledge that you're a spiritual being and you have spirits around who help you, you can't face challenges. Challenges do come, and challenges are opportunities for us to learn and grow from them, and create this resilient skills to adapt, to bounce back, to step up, redo it again, different strategies. Like, just don't give up entirely, right? So spirituality here, why spiritual life coach, is that spirituality is the foundation of the work that I do, based on we are a person, it's a body, a mind, and a soul. So our spiritual life, or our spiritual being, it's a basis, it's a foundation of how we create meaning in our lives, right? So those are the things that I work with, and I also incorporate positive psychology principles uh, in in the work that I do. So what I do is to create a profile, or like a profile that will have some sort of a mind map into looking into your strength, any resilience that you have. You don't have to be facing any challenges in order to do coaching. You might just need to have someone who can like coach you, or maybe just bring some perspective into things that you're doing. Also work with those who have done your plant medicine, who might need someone to look into their journey and help it in, like, to be able to integrate the lessons that came, because some of the things that come through the journey of our plant medicine, some can be very heavy things that we need to work with, but as I've said, if they are on more side of pathology, you might need to consider seeing a psychologist, clinical psychologist, and the professionals in that era of pathologies. Okay. So, and so, for example, I just wanted to give you an overview, like examples, right? Let's say when we are creating your profile and your map, what we do, we would try to calculate, we don't even have to calculate, we have to look into which, we have 7 soul cycles, so we would look into which soul cycle are you in, and we'll also look into, let's say you are in your soul cycle, your fourth cycle, and that is the age between your 22 to 28. So we look into that. But if maybe there's some work that you didn't do in a previous cycle, on your third cycle perhaps, or your second cycle, those are when we are dealing with, your childhood time or your adolescence time, that you might need to look into and work with. We would go back into those things, see what can we tap in, and what strength can we bring, and all that, right? So on your fourth cycle, you are dealing with development of your mental capacity. You are dealing with, getting to develop your own independency. You are dealing with getting to have your own world views. So things like, so the circle work best with psychology principles such as your self-determination. It works well with where, we look either into your what do you call, I talked about it the other day, the autonomy, having to have your own views, your own choice, without having to be influenced or impacted by, your outside world, right? We do not dispute that the outside world do have play a role, because already you are in a society. You don't live in a vacuum. You live in a society, but you are able to make your own choices that you understand as a person, and that aligns with the journey or the goals that you want to attain, and the things that you want to experience in your life, right? And then in that, we build as well your resilience, or we check, the resilience that you have built. So when you're dealing with self, there's also the build and broad broaden and build broaden and build what am I saying? Broaden and build model. So there, because we're talking about, in cycle 4, we're talking about the development of your mental capacity as well. So here we try to see, how do we broaden your resources in your life? How do we create or build on your sources, like your meaning, the source of meaning in your life? We build your resilience source. We look into all this things. We look into, when we look into self-determination, we also look into relatedness, how you relate to things, because as I've said, we do not live in a vacuum. So those are the things that I work with, and that I am going to be looking into. If you are going to want to come into a session of coaching with me. And for those who have done plant medicine, with plant medicine, sometimes people do get into not understanding, because spirits speak in symbols. Spirits speak in symbols, and you need to know the symbols. Sometimes things are not as direct. You need to look deep. You need to see what this is, it is, and you should go back to spirit. Sometimes people do medicine, and then maybe they just get difficult things to deal with, and you just drop it. So you need to work on those things, and you need to learn how to, and if you are not able to integrate or really understand it properly, it is good to have coaching with someone who can help you to Sorry. Someone who can help you to look into your journey and the symbols that were given and the things that you needed to deal with. So that is my work. So how to contact me? There is my email address in the description. You would have to send me an email and we can set up contracts where you need to understand what we are going to be dealing with, what we are going to look with. And I want people who are ready to do the work. You need to know that you need to do the work. Spiritual life, and it doesn't come in a silver platter, honestly. And I said in my first video, you have to experience life. In order for you to be a master, you need to experience life. In order for you to be to have like self-awareness and self-master yourself, you need to get into self-research, get to know yourself, get to know what you believe in, get to know what you know and what you stand for, with clarity, with understanding, not with they say that and they say this, right? Get to know that. Don't just be intimidated by people who would say no, but because sometimes we get to be so scared about those who are spiritually advanced. Someone be like, no, but I'm seeing this and that. Give gratitude and say thank you, but go back and speak to your spirit guides, your spirit team, you know. And if you don't know them, call the beings of light, or rather, call your ancestors of your bloodline first and ask them for these people are saying this and that. And perhaps you're not even aligning with that thing. See if it really aligns, and if it aligns, then work on it. Okay, because spirits do speak through other people. Spirit speak through a lot of things, as I've said, symbols after symbols. So that's my overview of the work that I do, and I will be looking into another lesson some other time, but today I just thought I should come and give those who are aligned with my work an overview of what they should expect in the work that I do. So I do look forward to working with you. So yeah, so with those who are females, we also would have to tap into your circle, because your circle is very important. As ladies, we operate in that 28 29 day circle than operating on a sun circle, like on a day-to-day basis. So we need to also understand that, and also have to understand ourselves in each and every week, in each and every 7 day of your moon cycle, right? Your period cycle. So moon cycle, period cycle, one and the same thing. So because your periods run in the same circle of the moon, that is why I'm saying one and the same thing. It's not like the days are the same, but it's the same concept. It's the same circle. Some people would have same we have their first day of their periods on the same day on the new moon, others on the full moon, others on the third quarter, So just know, but also know that those 4 weeks of your cycle also represent certain, or rather can be, what is the word? Integrated with or looked in as like seasons, or integrated with seasons, something like that, right? Like they represent certain season in your life, and don't, as if you're not aware of it, then you kind of get frustrated with your cycle and with what you face, and as women, there's also, we need to also unlearn the hatred of the hatred of our cycle. We need to relearn that, because most of us gets to be so irritated with our cycle and all those things, but there are ways, there are natural ways. I learned about the hibiscus tea, hibiscus flowers, that helps to regulate your mood. Like, you don't have to struggle, you're just in a flow with your cycle. So with females, we will have to tap into the cycle as well, so that we are able to appreciate our feminine side, and how it affects our well-being and our day-to-day life, right? So that's it for me today. Till next time, good night.